Morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me this morning. My name is Kristen Davies. I am a trainer with Can-Am Systems. Today's presentation, we are going to take a look at our feature soon to be released, which enables users to create HTML log notes. HTML will allow you to add bolding, italicize, and lots of neat features that we're going to take a look at. Little bit of housekeeping for us this morning. Our recorded session will be dropped into your Dropbox for those registered participants. During the session, all participants are muted just to keep a little bit of the background noise down. If you have a question, there is a chat box within the Zoom meeting where you can pose a question, which I will answer at the end of the session. If we run out of time, I will reach out to you individually to answer your questions. On the agenda today, we are going to take a look at a number of areas. We're going to review the role permissions to allow users to create log note templates. We're going to take a look at a log note template and all of the HTML features. We're going to talk about adding that note template to job notifications. And we're also going to add that note template to a job. Lastly, we'll take a look at how that template looks when your recipient receives that log note. And as mentioned, at the end, we'll have a Q&A. So starting off with our roles, roles can be found settings and under the roles option. Select your role by clicking on edit. And to create your log templates, we are in relationships. But first we must take a look at the company settings option. In order to create a log note template, users must have access to company settings. Now, if you only just permission them to do log notes, don't worry, they won't be able to get into any other areas of your company settings. So we will need to give them the option to edit and view. Back down in relationships, log note templates, and they will need to have the option at minimum to create, edit, and view. Should you wish them to have delete, you can give them that option as well. Another area that would go hand in hand with log note templates would be topics. If we don't have one already created, your user would need to have the options to create, edit, and view at a minimum. Deleting obviously would be an option that you may or may not give them. I'm going to jump right into the note templates area. Again, I'm in settings and I'm in company settings and I'm within the jobs area of company settings. We're going to take a look at a created log note template. The description field is an identifier in the list of log note templates of what that template is about. I've created a topic for this template, Welcome to Restoration Contractor, but of course you have options available based on template note topics that have already been created. The template fields allow you to pull information from your job files, such as relationship information, date information, etc. And we're going to take a look at a template and add those fields after we've finished here. Next, we can identify some contacts. In this template, I've identified that I want this template to go out to my customer. So if I add this template to my job file and I have an email address on my customer record, this template will go out to my customer. I can also identify internal recipients. So clicking on the silhouette, I can come in here and I can find internals and add them to my template. And what that effectively will do is if I need this to go to somebody internally, when I add this template to my job in the notes section, it'll pull this email automatically, much like it will for my customer. Coming down to the subject area, this will be the subject of the email the recipient will receive. And now you'll see that we have a template. The note field has been changed to allow us to do some modifications, some editing, and create some fancy log notes. Going across the top, we have some paste options. So this is very similar to what you would have in your Word documents or in your Outlook. So we can have pasting options, linking. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but that linking option allows you to pull in a logo, or we can link sections of a log note template for ease of use for our customers. The anchor is what anchors that linked section together. And I'm going to show you how to do that. The image area is where you can pull in your logo. So if you do have a URL version of your logo, you would simply drop it in here and click OK, and that will put that logo wherever you've placed your cursor prior to clicking on the image option. If you do not have a URL version of your logo, send your logo to our support team, support@canmsys.com, and they will create a URL logo for you. I can build a table in my template. I can insert horizontal lines. I can also insert special characters. Simply hovering over and selecting it will put that special character in your document. I can expand. So I can take a look and see and continue with my formatting in a larger view. Bolding, italicizing, strike through. You can remove the formatting. I can also insert number lists or remove them, as well as bullets. Down at the bottom, I have options to start formatting with my styles. I can create headers within my document. So very similar to how you can in Word. I have fonts that I can choose from and font sizes. I can also add color to my text. There's also a question mark, and this is a hyperlink to the editor option so that you can ask questions and find simple answers to your questions. So I'm going to expand just to show you the full note that I've created. So I've got fields that I'm going to pull in from my job. I have created a couple of sections that will allow the user, when they receive the log note, to click on this if I wanted to come in directly down to one of these sections. I'm pulling in some information from my job file, such as my receive date, my number, my address, policy number, and claim number. Some relationship information as well. My logo that I popped in there using a URL link. Here are those sections that I showed you at the top. You can also add in hyperlinks to various websites. So whether you're people follow on LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook, you can insert those hyperlinks as well. I'm going to go back to my list, and I'm going to start to show you how you can edit your log note template. So again, I've started to create this just for time constraints on our session. So I've chosen again my topic, Welcome to Restoration Contractor, my template fields. And here's where I'm going to select my customer, should I wish to send this to my customer or a vendor, depending on the contents of your note. Here I can search for my recipients and I can add them. So these will automatically be added to my note when I add it into the job. And my subject. So now I'm going to start adding some template fields. I'm just going to place my cursor and I'm going to pop back up here to my template field and I'm going to start searching. And then when I find the field that I want to insert, I just hit plus add and you see it drops in a field. Same thing with my other fields, my receive date, my job number, my address, I have my policy number, and this information, once you put it on your job file, will automatically fill in for you. So let's talk about this other area where I have some sections identified. I talked about anchoring your sections. So if I scroll down to the bottom where my sections are set up, what I want to do first in order to anchor these is I want to put my cursor in front of my first line and I'm going to choose anchor and I'm going to give it an anchor name. And then in my second section, so this is what you would do throughout. You would continue to, if you have a large document that you want people to come to a section specifically that they want to read. So now I've anchored my sections. I'm going to come back up to the top. I'm going to highlight, and now I want to click on this link area. What you want to select here is link to anchor and text. And I can choose my section names, what I've anchored. If I wanted to put a section in my a line in between my sections, I just click on my line. So let's talk about some relationship market template fields. So I want my project manager name. And I want my contact information. So my work phone, my PMA, and their contact information. Find these role positions and marketing positions. So role positions are found in company settings, in the jobs area, under edit employee types. So you would have to have permissions to be in there. The marketing positions on your companies are found in company settings under relationships, edit company types. So I'm going to start finding my marketing positions. So my insurance office, my adjuster, that's my contact. And now I want to put in their contact info. So now we've actually created our template. So this will be available to pull onto your job files. Another area that you are able to use the templates is in job notifications. So back in job notifications, which can be found in settings, company settings, jobs, I have my template, my notification, already created, but I'll show you how it looks. If you're not familiar with setting up a job notification, it is by job type. So for this particular notification, I've chosen my job type reconstruction. So any jobs that I create with that job type will receive this notification. And it's going to be pulled when a receive date is added to my job file. It's also narrowed down by my location. Again, I have the ability to add a contact, job contacts. For this notification to go out, they have to have an email address in order for that notification to be received on their company record. I also have the ability to identify internal employees which will receive this job notification. I can set an interval of 1 day, 2 days, 1 hour, 2 hours. So depending on how frequent you want your notification to go out. And here's where we would pull in our template that we have created. And as you can see, the information contained from my note template that we created is down here in my notes section. So let's take a look at our job and pulling a notes template onto my job. Clicking on that plus create, you'll notice that we have also incorporated the HTML option within the notes. So not only can you create them in your note templates, but you can create them directly on your log note. I'm going to come over here to my template. It's asking me if I want to populate it, and I say yes. So it pulls in my information that's in my template. You'll also notice that my two recipients that I identified in my template have pulled onto my file, so my notes, so I don't have to go searching for them. And you'll see that I have information pulling from those marketing fields and relationship fields and job fields. So my customer name, it's pulled in my receipt date, my address information, policy number, my internal relationship information, my company information, my logo, my anchored sections, and my hyperlinks to my sites. Of course, you have the ability to add additionals to this template or to this log note. Clicking on the attachments, you'll be able to pull in an attachment. They must be added here to the attachments tab. So let's take a look at what the email recipient will get based on my log note template that I've added to my job file. So again, I have my customer name. Here are my linked sections. So if I was to click on one of my sections, it'll automatically take me down to that section. We have our job information, our relationship information, marketing information for our companies, our logo, and our hyperlinks. So that is how to create a log note template using our new feature, which will be released next week, HTML formatting. I will open up the floor to any chats. If anybody has any questions, please enter them into the chat box and I will be happy to answer them for you. Very good question from Justin. Are note templates coming to the mobile app? I am proud to say, or happy to say, yes, they are. We're doing a revamp of our mobile app, but that won't be released until later in the year. So yes, templates are coming to the mobile app. Any other questions from the floor? Well, if there are no further questions, I'd like to thank you all for joining me today. If you do have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to our support team, support@canamsys.com, and they would be happy to answer. And if they don't have the answer, they can send it to one of our trainers. Thank you so much, everybody, and have a great rest of the day. If anybody has any questions, please enter them into the chat box and I will be happy to answer them for you. Very good question from Justin. Are note templates coming to the mobile app? I am proud to say, or happy to say, yes, they are. We're doing a revamp of our mobile app, but that won't be released until later in the year. So yes, templates are coming to the mobile app. Any other questions from the floor? Well, if there are no further questions, I'd like to thank you all for joining me today. If you do have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to our support team, support@canamsys.com, and they would be happy to answer. And if they don't have the answer, they can send it to one of our trainers. Thank you so much, everybody, and have a great rest of the day. If anybody has any questions, please enter them into the chat box and I will be happy to answer them.